Hello, this is Jennifer Waymark, and you're listening to an Oshawa Museum podcast. This podcast series aims to actively promote awareness and appreciation of our community's history, highlighting remarkable artifacts, documents, photographs, or events from our past. We hope you enjoy the podcast. The Government of Canada has designated the period of 2014 to 2020 as the official commemoration period of the World Wars and the brave men and women who served and sacrificed on behalf of their country. One of the most enduring examples of war commemoration is the bronze Dead Man's Penny, seen on many gravestones in cemeteries across Canada. The plaques, resembling a large penny, hence their nickname, were given to families who had lost a loved one as a result of World War I. Canada entered World War I on August 4, 1914, when the United Kingdom declared war on Germany. At the time, Canada was a British Dominion, and therefore subject to foreign policy decisions made by the British Parliament. During the course of the war, over 619,000 Canadian men enlisted, and almost 60,000 lost their lives. In 1916, as the Great War waged on, the British government felt there was a need to create a memorial to be given to the families of the war dead, which would acknowledge their sacrifice. A committee, headed by the Secretary of the War Office, Sir Reginald Braid, was created and given the task of deciding what form this memorial would take. The committee decided on a bronze plaque, officially known as the Next of Kin Memorial Plaque, and a memorial scroll signed by the King. In 1917, a competition, open to any British-born person, was held to find a design for the plaque. Instructions for the competition were published in the Times newspaper on August 13, 1917, listing the stipulations for entry. For example, any design had to include a symbolic figure meaningful to British citizens. Potential designs must also include the inscription, quote, "He died for freedom and honor," unquote, and provide space to include the name, initials, and military unit of the deceased. There were more than 800 entries submitted, and Mr. Edward Carter Preston was the successful winner. His design, a 12cm disc cast in bronze gunmetal, featured the figure of Britannia holding a laurel wreath, beneath which was a rectangular tablet where the deceased individual's name was cast into the plaque. No rank was given, as it was intended to show equality in their sacrifice. The required inscription, quote, "He died for freedom and honor," unquote, was inscribed along the outer edge of the disc. In front of Britannia stands a lion and two dolphins, representing Britain's sea power. A smaller lion is depicted biting into an eagle, the emblem of Imperial Germany. With the conclusion of the war, over 1.3 million plaques were sent to grieving families. Plaques were sent to the next of kin for all soldiers, sailors, airmen, and women serving who died as a direct consequence of their service. Plaques were also sent to the next of kin of those who died between August 4, 1914 and April 30, 1919, as a result of sickness, suicide, or accidents, or as a result of wounds sustained during their time of service. The plaques soon became popularly known as the Dead Man's Penny or Widow's Penny, for their resemblance to the penny coin. There was no formalized etiquette for displaying the plaques. According to Sam Richardson, assistant curator at the Ontario Regiment Museum, some families chose to do very little with the plaques, the memorial scrolls, and King's messages that came with them. Often, these plaques would be hidden away in drawers or chests, so as not to be reminders of their lost loved ones. Others, however, went to great lengths to display it. Many families had them added to war memorials as they were built, or framed and mounted on walls in the family home, or in a local community establishment that the soldier had been part of, such as a church parish. As more time passed and military museums began to be established and grow, many descendants would choose to donate the plaques to them. The family of Oshawa, Ontario resident William Garrow Jr. decided on a more permanent home for their brother's death penny by having it mounted into a gravestone. William Garrow Jr. was born on May 15, 1894, to William and Mary Garrow. He was the youngest of 4 children and the only surviving son, as his brother Lorne had passed away at just 3 months old. At the time he enlisted, Garrow had been working as an upholsterer and living with his parents and 2 sisters in the family home on Albert Street. Garrow enlisted with the Canadian Expeditionary Force in Montreal on August 30th, 1915 at the age of 21. We know that during his time overseas, he saw action in both France and Belgium. Upon arriving overseas, Garrow joined up with the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry, the Princess Pats, as a replacement on the front lines in December 1915. He was fighting with the Princess Pats at the Battle of Mount Sorel when he lost his life between June 2nd and 4th, 1916. The family received official word of his death through a telegram sent approximately 2 weeks later. According to their great-nephew, the Garrow children were very close, and the death of William Jr. had a devastating effect on the family, still mourning the death of Lorne. Although the final resting place of Private William Garrow Jr. is unknown, he is memorialized on the Mendon Gate. His death had a profound impact on the family. Not only did they choose to place his memorial plaque in a family headstone, but his two sisters took part in a 1920s battlefield tour to see where their brother had lost his life. This has been an Oshawa Museum podcast. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other historical video podcasts and subscribe to our channel.